Hi, everyone. Welcome to my live stream for the Microsoft Build edition of my session for learned experience from migrating legacy applications to Azure. And this is one of the topics that I'm passionate about. I see that we have some people watching us live right now or watching me live right now. So, just to tell everyone, I am streaming this from home. It's actually my day off, and it is my contribution for the Microsoft build as a Microsoft learning expert. And this is supposed to be streamed over a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but I got busy, so this is not too late yet. So today I'll share an interesting topic, and this is streamed both in on my LinkedIn, on my YouTube, user group Sweden, and even on my Twitter account. And let's see, I am actually doing both live. I'm hosting this myself, and I'm also the speaker. So I'm doing multitasking. I have Jose. Hi, Jose. Thank you for joining. I'm glad that you joined me live. We have a LinkedIn user. It doesn't show who you are, but hi, good morning, and also Jose again. So I will be speaking about cloud migration that led me to write my book. I've spoken this topic in many uh, sessions in some conferences, so it's my first time to do it for Microsoft Build. So this is a topic, and this is a special one edition because in this edition, I will be sharing a QR code later, where you can fill in your like information, and then also Microsoft Learn badge. You may ask the questions later anytime at the end of the session. So bear with me because I'm doing the hosting and the speaking at the same time. So let's see if I'm good at this. It's been a while since I did both. So this is the Microsoft Learn Build Edition, where you have the option to earn digital badges on site. If you're learning through Microsoft Build, I believe that challenge is ending tomorrow, but it's not too late if you have the whole day to learn, and also you learning today. So there you can earn the badge by going to an in-person Microsoft Build community event. You can also earn by attending this event that is virtual by the Microsoft Learn experts or the communities or user group. And then you will get this as well if you do the challenge for Microsoft Learn, which you will find if you go to aka.ms/ms build challenge. So, for those that are watching live today, see, I have 313 viewers as of now. It's increasing. You may scan the QR code, leave your name or email address, because I'm gonna do a bit of both of sharing copies of my ebooks for learning Microsoft Azure, and also exam vouchers for Microsoft certifications that you can use to take your exam. Might be an Azure Fundamentals, can be an Azure Developer Associate type or an expert level, but it's a voucher from Microsoft Learn that allows you to get 50% discount, and it has a limited period of about, I think, middle of October. So if you're very engaged and paying attention to what I'm delivering, you will be able to like get a chance to get all this voucher later on that I'll do a follow up. So part of the reason why I'm doing this session, because aside from my user group, Azure User Group Sweden, and community engagement that I have, I am also part of one of the learning rooms for Microsoft Learn, and we call the team Cloud Certifications Crew. And it's a team of like Vilad, myself, and Thiago Costa. You know both of them. We have collaborated to create this learning room of global community focused on Azure and also cloud certifications crew. So if you're not joined in that learning room, please scan this QR code and join us. There are also other Microsoft Learning Room available for different topics, including Azure and all other languages that you can join. So, topic of today, cloud migration, which reminds me of one of my favorite indoor game at least. It's chess. So on my spare time and when I'm up for it, I love playing chess. It's like brain training for myself. And when I think about cloud migration, I think about it in a way that cloud migration is like playing chess in terms of having learning to do planning, learning to do strategy, as well as aiming for like winning, of course, which is in cloud migration, you want it to be successful. And of course, lessons learned, because when you play chess, especially if you're in a beginner level, it is expected that you're gonna lose in the first few games or matches. So learning the strategy and all of that, cloud migration and chess is like something that relates to me, as well as life that we lived and the challenges and decisions we make in life also relate to chess. So that's just an introduction, but the topic is all about cloud migration and the lessons that I learned. And hopefully by the end of the session, I will be able to encourage you and inspire you that cloud migration is not an easy journey. And you need to know the common mistakes that you should avoid based on my own cloud migration journey. Let me just drink water. I was thirsty. I forgot to drink before. So, if I could travel back in time travel, I would not take, the famous movie with this car. I would not go back to the future and ride or drive this famous DeLorean flying time machine car. What I would do instead, I would be like a Wonder Woman, like that, like her, and I would take a giant leap back to the past, not future, but to the past, and be the superhero of my own cloud migration journey. And to those of you that have not met me or seen me speak virtually before in the community, I'm Jonah Andersson. I am very active in the community, inspiring technology and especially Azure to others. Outside my community engagement as an MVP, MCT, and community leader of Azure User Group Sweden, I am working as a senior Azure consultant at Solidify and very active as well in speaking internationally. And I wrote a book about Azure, which is the reason why, which is the cause why I have this book, because of this cloud migration topic or journey. So my cloud migration journey is a special one. It's a special one in a way that it led me and encouraged me to write the book in almost 2 years. So I was a Wonder Woman. As I said, I would, if I could travel back in time, I wanted to be a superhero who could leap back to the past. So I was a Wonder Woman that had a mission to lift a legacy .NET application to Azure or to the cloud, which was about 15 years old. And at that time, I was a junior developer which had the role of different things, and it was a journey that was interesting. The mission was to migrate an ASP.NET 4.7 on-prem application, legacy application, from the traditional infrastructure with all those old Microsoft SQL Server and old SQL Server reporting services. Our our environments were in on-prem as well, which is in the form of on-prem virtual machines. So every time, if you're a developer, I used to be a developer of the project as well. I have to build the code, copy and paste the DLL file from dev, all looks good. Then copy and paste the DLL file after bug fixes to the next environment. So it's not the automated CI/CD workflow that we're so fancy to work on today when it comes to Azure DevOps and GitHub actions that we have. So it was really, really a traditional old style. And then from that project, we had a mission or a goal to move that to the cloud, to Azure, because of like updates or out of date support, especially for the virtual machines, on prem virtual machines that we are supporting or hosting our applications, which was a .NET legacy one. So, of course, we have chosen Azure. I mean, because, of course, Azure is very close to the Microsoft technology stack, especially for .NET and all the other features that Microsoft Azure has in terms of security, scalability, hybrid capability, and being able to globally scale your application out there into different regions or countries. Of course, when we did that application, we weren't there yet, but we had a good vision at that time to use Azure because of its advantages. So, to those of you that are pretty new to Azure, probably most of you are already expert in this and already certified. But to those that are new, just an overview. So, Microsoft Azure, this is probably not the latest like screenshot of all the services. There's more, but this is like an overview of all the different major categories that Microsoft Azure has in terms of like platform services, monitoring services, security, hybrid cloud or multi-cloud, and the different parts like for storage, databases, and networking. And behind all this great and awesome services, there's lots of them in different categories. There are data centers where they are actually hosted or being saved. And last March, I had the honor to visit the headquarters of Microsoft in Redmond, and it was really, I can't tell all the details, but it was really amazing how the backbone of Microsoft Azure and the data centers are being thought and strategically built in each of the location. So my cloud migration journey was a long one, and I learned a lot. It was also a big cloud migration project for a small team, meaning I was very small. Yeah, it was a very small agile team because I was the leading. I was like, there are only a few of us, but I was the one doing the multiple hats job as a consultant. First, I'm the main developer maintaining the system that's already in production. And on the side, I had this migration project that I have to act as a developer, architect for the new migration, cloud advisor, because I was at that time I was the only one that kind of knew about cloud and Azure. And then I have some a few colleagues that worked with me in the projects. It's a very small agile team, and it was a challenging big project as well. And speaking about project, it reminded me of this uh, like cartoon series. The first time I encountered this was when I was learning .NET development as a junior developer or someone learning programming and haven't been in a real live cloud project or application development project. When you see this, you might think, "Oh, it's just a series of cartoon with trees and some some like roller coaster." But when you have started, especially me, I have experience working in a project for a while, you realize and learn the real real projects really works, regardless of whatever type of is it a new project or cloud migration project. So you see each team member has their own perspective about the business requirement, and sometimes when you're in a project, if communication is missing and openness and being able to listen to each other are missing, it might be a challenge to move forward in any project. And this is something that I always like to show because it's a good example that each of us are unique and we interpret things or every project differently. So the key thing is just collaboration and being able to openly communicate ideas and exchange it in a diverse and a good way. So when you do application development, when it comes to cloud migration, these are like the different parts of it. So you have existing apps, which is an on-prem. You have the option to do infrastructure as a service that's already cloud infrastructure ready, and that's what we call the migrate and rehost part. And it's just like the lift and shift, the quickest possible, the easiest possible. And then there is also the cloud optimize. That's and the cloud native part where if you have if you wanted to the modernization, and it means that you as much as possible do minimal code changes. And then if you want to do fully cloud native, you also have the option to do that in terms of like microservices, doing event driven, and other services that you can make use of for your platform as a service and as cloud native. So moving forward, so when you move to the cloud, there's this I'm seeing people saying hi everyone. So I will take questions. Feel free to just leave your questions later. I will just answer it at the end. I'm doing both the hosting and talking right now, but I do see your comment. So um, cloud rationalization. So that's one of the things that probably each of us or developers involved in the cloud migration project needs to learn. So what is it? So it's actually a process or a way for us to evaluate our assets. When I speak about assets, I mean the IT assets that we have in our project, and determine them, what is the best way for each of those assets to for migration purpose or modernization process. So to summarize, if you can actually read about cloud, the 5 R's of rationalization on the Microsoft Learn website. So there's a documentation for that under the cloud adoption framework. And there's 5 R's. So there's the rehost, the refactor, the re-architect, the rebuild, and the replace. So rehost is like almost the first option. You try as much as possible to do the lift and shift. That's why I added the man lifting the weights, because it's literally trying as much as possible the easiest way and the quickest way with not so much code changes from on-prem legacy applications to the cloud. And sometimes it's easy if I mean if it's a simple project, but if your project has a lot of integration, it's too complex. A rehosting might be not the good option. But the rehost is like rehosting it to the cloud, either as a virtual machine option, as an infrastructure as a service. And then there's also refactoring, where as much as possible you do the refactoring of your code to make it work, maybe transition it to a platform as a service and host it as like an app service instead, and then changing your database to like Azure SQL option, or if you have some NoSQL types of data, you can do Cosmos DB. And then there's the option to re-architect and then to rebuild. And most of this is for more like modernization purpose, migrating. And then at the same time, you're also modernizing to be competitive in the new technologies that are available today, and you're not kind of like far behind like the dinosaurs, if you know what I mean. And then replace. Sometimes you just do the software as a service, like completely replace it and do an alternative option. So if all R's of cloud rationalization you tried doesn't work, sometimes you have to let go of that existing application that couldn't be moved to the cloud. So sometimes you just start fresh. start new, and make a new architecture. So you let it go. And I myself in that project have done all or almost all of the R's. So we tried to lift and shift. That didn't work because it was too expensive. It didn't really work because we had some integrations, and that didn't work. I didn't want to share the details, but that didn't work. And then we did some refactoring. So the app that I was involved with the project was about 15 years old. It was not well documented. There were about 2015 developers that implemented their own coding style inside the project, both the front end and the back end. And then refactoring it was a bit of messy, like a spaghetti code, trying to untangle each of those spaghetti so they can be like a clean pasta, the straight one, if you know what I mean. But refactoring was one of the options we did, and even tried to host or deploy the application, that application to a platform as a service. So we upgraded from .NET 4.7 ASP.NET at that time to like 4.8, something that was the minimum required .NET version for app service a long time ago. And that actually worked, but there were some bugs and integration problems in terms of databases and connections. So that did not work either. But we did rebuild an architect, so which means we started everything as new. So we did a new front end, new back end. We choose .NET Core at that time. That means that's just like a long time ago because now it's .NET 9. A .NET Core at that time. Everything looked good, and it did actually work. We have like a working, like at least very new, fresh, like version of the application on the side that's already on Azure or on the cloud. It's like we have something like a good POC, migrated one for the same application. So that went well, but it was actually stopped. The project, just when you succeeded, it was stopped and it did not make it to production. And the reason for that, it's because the client or the people that were using the application, they were not so confident about the cloud, and they were concerned about security, they were concerned about cost, and they were concerned about different things in terms of data compliance and all the other things. And I can imagine a long time ago, like this was about like about 8 years ago, the documentation in terms of cloud adoption maybe was not so available. That's why we were kind of lost at that time. That's why at the beginning of my talk, I said, if I could go back in time, I would be the Wonder Woman that would rescue that project. But it did actually, like, we made it. It's just like it did not make it to production because of miseducation or lack of knowledge about the capabilities of the cloud. So, from being a Wonder Woman, a pretty Wonder Woman like her, I actually went a 404. And if you're a developer, you're someone who knows what 404 means. I literally went down, meaning I got tired about the project, and I took a break from that project. I also did some reflections, and then I actually realized that probably that place was not the right place for me. I also left that company or left the job because I felt like it wasn't the right place for me where I could grow and implement the skills that I had. But I left that project, working one, but it did not really made it to production. And I think until today that application is still on prem. And I did a lot of reflections. This was in Portugal, thinking and taking the break. And I realized and asked what went wrong. Just like when you're playing chess and then you failed, you thought in the middle game you're already winning. And then you realize at the end, you're actually losing because the enemy, the opposite opponent, had the edge of the last move that he or she did. So in that migration journey, I asked myself, what went wrong? what did we miss? And then, as I said, if I could teleport time, what could we have done differently? So what I did is that I did the realization, and I created like top 8 common mistakes to avoid when it comes to cloud migration or modernization. And this is based on the true story, my own experience, work experience, and lessons learned. So number one is that you should not commit, of course, is starting a cloud migration project without a strategy. So you should not do that. So cloud strategy is very important when you're starting a new migration project. Don't start if you don't know what you're going to do as the first major steps, because that's the problem that we had in our um, project. We were just trying like lift and shift here and there. We didn't have the cloud adoption framework at that time to guide us. So now that we have it today, moving forward to the time that we have now, make use of the cloud adoption framework when it comes to building your strategy. And then number two that I learned from that experience, uh, try not to commit the mistake of not paying your tech debt, because that project, for example, had a lot of spaghetti code, a lot of bugs, a lot of duplicate data, even on the databases. When you're trying to do a migration project and they're still there, you need to fix it. Fix it first on-prem before you even try to move it to the cloud, because it really matters, especially if you're doing event-driven or things that reuse data. It can be very expensive. And of course, paying tech debt in general in any IT projects is very important. It is as important as you're building a new feature in your application or building a new window in your application. You don't want your house to break, just like this picture, while you're building your roof, but it's already falling down on the foundations. So pay tech debt now and not later, regardless if it's a cloud migration project or it's an application that you're modernizing today. Number three, don't make the mistake of having the lack of cloud knowledge and education. So I believe that one of the major reasons why the project did not make it through production, it's because of the lack of knowledge about the capabilities of the cloud for that specific application to the users and even for its expansion. So before you even consider moving to the cloud, you have to think about strategy, about tech debt, and also cloud knowledge. If you really need to move to the cloud, think about who are the people that can help you and has the knowledge and the strategy that could help you implement that, because it's very important to your success. And then, of course, number four, uh, s- don't make the mistake of starting very big. Try to do it in iterations, small steps, like a stair, and start small, because when you're doing too much and too big, it will lead you to failure and just trial and error. Of course, it's always good to like try it out and fail fast sometimes. When you already have the good foundation of the strategy built in for you, like the cloud adoption framework or cloud migration tips, why would you do a big lift, that a leap of stuff that maybe not as so sure? And then number five, try not to make a mistake that you have no knowledge about cloud security or compliance, because cloud security is one of the major things that needs to be considered when you're moving to the cloud, especially when you think about compliance in different countries, GDPR. I know Microsoft has this compliance guidelines for everybody, even for Azure. If you are hosting your applications to Azure, you can choose to host your resources or resource group within the region closest to you. In Sweden, for example, there's Sweden Central. Within Europe, there's North Europe, and I think each of the countries already has almost one major data center where you can host your data as well. Number six is make sure that your that your teams working in the cloud projects are actually in sync, meaning that you are coordinated about already decided beforehand the cloud migration or the tools that you're going to use for development, for collaboration. And I do have one simple but funny example on this one in my experience. So in that migration project, there were like different team members involved, and one of the team members that were to set business requirements prefers to use Excel to list down the functional requirements instead of deciding together to use Azure DevOps, for example, as a common tool for project management. So the unsync of ideas and tools to be used in a project can be something that can affect the productivity and the moving forward of the migration project itself. So before you start any project, especially cloud migration, you need to plan already as part of your strategy the tools that we're going to use for CI/CD pipelines, for collaboration or project management. Of course, make sure that they sync like this tinikling dance. So this is a dance, national, one of the folklore dance in the Philippines. So like you have a group of people, two or one are dancing in between these bamboo sticks. And if those ladies or guy that's holding the bamboo stops holding the bamboo in the middle of the dance, the dancers is gonna get hurt. So just like this dance, syncing and collaborating in anything within the project is very important. And it reminds me of the Bayanihan spirit, where I grew up in the Philippines, so I have a Filipino culture in me. The one of the um, word that I really like from home is the spirit of bayanihan, which we also call the spirit of community. So in the Philippines, especially in the poor areas, um, neighbors, they can ask their other neighbors. I mean, you can ask your neighbors, especially if you have a small house like this that got affected by a flood. You can ask your neighbors, can you help us move our house from one place to another temporarily? So when you see this image, it's a good example of community spirit, which also is a, a relevant thing or when it comes to collaboration in a cloud project. This is how it actually looks like in action. So you can see they are lifting the house. I don't have the house like that because my house in the Philippines is concrete. I don't think they can carry it, but that's how the typical bayanihan or collaboration spirit of community in the Philippines. So I thought I would learn some trivia about the country, and it's also about amidst of storms when it's like flooding. So not all can swim, of course. And when it comes to flood, sometimes you have to sacrifice, like the police here were sacrificing on those that are not able to swim, so they can be on the boat during the flooding. And even the dog, we try to rescue them if we can. So yeah, those are like a good trivia from the Filipino culture. But moving forward to the number seven is the mistake that you should not commit is not using the free tools or like resources that you have already available. Sometimes when you do a cloud migration, you always think, and you need to hire a lot of people to do it, a lot of like build a super team to do it. But there are actually free resources already available for you that's provided by the cloud provider. So let's just say Microsoft Azure, there's Microsoft Learn, and the tools in terms of cloud adoption framework and the well architected framework as well. And then in every country, of course, there's this Microsoft Office for the community and partners. And if you're a company or organization, or you work for a company that is a Microsoft partner, there should be a information about cloud providers, or they call it CSP, I think, where they have the experts in the specific technology that you can reach out to, and they can help you with in terms of guidance how to move forward. And then number 8, which is I think the last mistake I have on the list, top on the list, is don't commit the mistake of skipping and ignoring the importance of security. So if you're familiar with the cloud computing like deployment models and even the shared responsibility model, so when you move an application to the cloud, you have to choose your deployment model. So it can be an infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or whatever X service as a service you want. But there are layers of your infrastructure, like the data, the networking, the configuration. All those parts are actually in different layers, where some parts of it are your responsibility as a user or organization, and some parts of it are the responsibility of the cloud provider. And this is when the shared responsibility model comes on, not just for security, but also how we build our applications. So it will be, of course, optimized for performance, scalability, but also to make it secured. One example of this is that when you think about security in development, it's always good to do the to advise to have this coding practice that developers doesn't like hard code connection strings within the application code or the configuration code. It is recommended to use like secret management tools like Azure Key Vault, or try to hide as much as possible and not expose those secret. So just like when you're migrating, don't ignore the importance of security. So, some tips now after my lessons learned. So, I want to recommend the Cloud Adoption Framework, which is a framework that did not exist when I had my cloud migrations journey. I'm very happy this exists. So you can also not commit the same mistakes that we had in that project. So, check it out. It's a good framework. And then what it does is that it allows you to define the strategy first, just like the lessons that I learned. You define the strategy, you plan it, and then you have the ready phase, and then in the adoption phase, you have the option to do the migrate and innovate, or mix both of them. And then within the planning and ready and adoption phase, that's where you do the security part, the governance, and the management of the entire process. By doing these steps, you actually have this like things to follow, instead of just trying this and ad hoc with different things on your cloud migration. So number 2 also is the cost is one of the major considerations when you're trying to move to the cloud. Don't uh don't miss this good tools available for you when it comes to like TCO calculator to start with. It is a calculator that allows you to calculate, visualize, and see how much how much money your organization or your project would save from on-prem to to compare to cloud in a span of, for example, 5 years. So this will help you your if you're a business decision maker, like if you're an IT decision maker for the project, or if you're an architect, someone that needs to push the project forward. TCO calculator is a good calculator. And then Azure Cost Management and Azure Budget Alerts, so you don't exceed the budget. And I know cloud can be very expensive, especially if you forget to turn off some Azure resources, which is very costly, and it ticks, and it's gonna like increase your bill. So cost management is a good way. Another one is for multi-cloud and hybrid scenarios. There's an option like from on-prem, the lift and shift part, and also assessment tools for migration. There's Azure Migrate, especially for databases and like servers. So this is a good tool. And if you're using .NET, there's actually a code assessment or migration assessment plugin for .NET. So if you have a Visual Studio, look for this one, Azure Migrate code assessment. Once you have it, it will actually help you detect or do the assessment of your entire code base and tell you what are the recommendation when it comes to migrating it to the cloud. So check it out if you have a fully .NET plugin. And I think there's also one for Java. So I'm not very biased only for .NET. Since I'm a .NET developer, I speak a lot about it. But there's also a plugin for Java if you have that application. So there's also Azure Migrate modernization program and kit for everybody, so that you can check out. And Microsoft assessment if you want to assess different things when it comes to architecture, when it comes to your cloud journey that you can track. It has a like series of questions that you can ask, and then you can save it, you can export it and share it, and then it will evaluate if there are some missing checklists that you need to comply or to try to use. So it's really a good one. And then WAF, the Azure Well Architected Framework, which has this 5 pillars when it comes to like building applications for cloud quality as well. So they align, they're like sisters and brothers, WAF and CUF. CUF is the cloud adoption framework. They're good combo together. So they're like if they were superheroes, the Superwoman and the Superman and the Wonder Woman and all those heroes synergizing, they are really good in building a good one. And it's not just about cloud migration, but it's actually in general the project that you build for the cloud. So reliability, cost, operational excellence, security as well, which is very important. So check it out. And then Azure Arc for hybrid. So you don't need to fully migrate to the cloud. So I want to highlight that sometimes there's this misunderstanding, especially those that are new to the cloud computing. Oh, we need to move to the cloud because we need to be on top of everything. But not all applications is I mean compatible for cloud. Sometimes it depends on the use case. It depends on the business. So if you have to keep some of parts of your applications on-prem, that's okay. You can use Azure Arc for hybrid and multi-cloud. I know some other MVPs, that I can mention names, but there are a lot of them that speak a lot about hybrid and multi-cloud options. So check it out as well. And there's this Azure Arc that allows you to do this setup in terms of architecture. And there's a tool also called for Azure Arc for developers when you are trying to develop one for this kind of setup. If you're curious about Azure Arc, there's a good community like guide or learning tool called Azure Arc Jumpstart, and the community is very active. I'm actually learning a lot from that, especially they speak about cloud migration. So check it out if you want to learn about how hybrid and multi-cloud setup or configuration works. Because as I said, you don't need to do fully cloud. You can do hybrid or a mix of both as well. All right. There's so much you need to learn, just like Yoda. Much to learn, you still have. And I also have a lot to share, of course. I have a lot of knowledge inside me that I'm like speaking fluent about this topic. But I recommend you to learn by doing. You don't learn by just like reading. You learn by doing, or a mix of both, or your own way or style. So check out Cloud Adoption Framework, the well-architected framework, and Azure Migrate. They are great tools for you to get started. And of course, I hope that my tips and lessons learned are not to commit mistakes. List is also helpful to you. So the cloud migration journey that I had, you know the story. If we go back like 30 minutes, 40 minutes ago, this led me to write this book that was published 6 months ago at O'Reilly. So it is a book that's that I really planned to be open to beginners that are new to cloud. I didn't want my book to be advanced level. I wanted to help everybody that are really having a challenge and really want to know how to get started to Azure. So I hope that you will get a chance to read this one. It was actually selected as the best new cloud computing books to read in 2024. So that's really good. And it actually matches my flower behind behind me right now. I found blue flowers on the store today. So learn by doing and have fun while you're learning, just like my dog Lawrence having fun on the last batch of snow that we have this past winter season. Of course, we have grass, so he started rolling on the grass instead. So finally, don't rush up rocket flying to the cloud, because if you fail to prepare, you are actually preparing to fail. That's what Benjamin Franklin said. And regardless of whatever use case you have, be the superheroes in your own cloud migration journey. And I hope that the lessons that I shared to you right now will be useful in your own one that you might have in the this year or the coming project. I have a QR code for those that wants to read my book online. It's a 30-day access to the book. You can follow the instructions, use Azure 23, and then you will be able to read my book for 30 days at the online version. And this is the time to claim your Microsoft Learn achievement badge. So please take a moment to take a deep breath as well, to scan the QR code. You need to log into your Microsoft Learn profile and use the redemption code that you see right now. You're prompted. And please share it on your social media platforms, hashtag Microsoft Build. And please don't forget to tag me or share the link to this YouTube video if you thought this was a good session. And I see a comment from Jose that says he wants a signed copy of my book. Okay. All right. I owe you one, Jose, then. Please, I'll reach out to you so you can get one. Thank you for that. So let's try to handle and see how I can get it from Sweden to you, to your location. So this is recorded. So if you have not scanned the QR code, feel free to go back to the session and then share it on your social media platforms. And let's see, do I have more? Let's see. Do I have questions? By the way, I have some viewers right now. Is there any questions? I am tracking the live chat. Yes, you're welcome. Who say? No questions? Did I explain it so well that no questions? I did a session also the other day and I only got one. Um, so I will wait a second and just see if there's going to be questions coming up. Oh, Christian is here. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Christian. So I have some live friends audience. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for your time. I'm actually on my days off before the midsummer, but I'm glad I could deliver this community session. Okay. I got a question here. What language should I work on when starting with Azure? Okay, That's a good question. It's a very general question, also, Agam. Thanks for asking that. I Any language actually is supported by, I mean, major language. So if your application is Microsoft or .NET, that would definitely work with Azure. But there are supports for like major languages, actually, like Java. So if you could like search, go for Azure's documentation, it will give you all the list of the specific platforms for coding for that. I hope that answered the question. I got a session. I got Christian. Yes, I have the link to the ACD, and I did share your session with Martin, and and that talk the other day. I'll share it to you. Håkan, happy midsummer. Yes, glad midsummer. And then we got a question from another audience. Ankit, can I use the same Azure Migrate project to migrate to multiple regions and multiple subscription? That's an interesting question. I'm just guessing right now. I don't think you can do multiple, like one project to multiple regions yet. I don't know exactly. I'm not 100% accurate, but I will get back to you. I will go back to this question and get back to you. So if you could connect on LinkedIn and follow up with me, I'm curious to know about this. But my my primary answer is that I don't think so, but maybe it's possible, since Microsoft Azure often updates new features for everybody. Okay, I think I have no more questions from everybody. Thank you for your interaction. I really love. I have friends watching me right now. That's great. So let's see. So thank you so much. Feel free to connect, and you are awesome. Enjoy your summer. It's midsummer weekend in Sweden, but if you're celebrating it as well, enjoy. Hope you get a good weather, and feel free to connect to me on X or Twitter or LinkedIn anytime. And oh, I got one question. Okay, not. I thought we're ending. Okay, let's see. How do you evaluate your existing on-prem infrastructure and application before migration? That's a great question. A very common question, also, Cynthia. I would recommend to use the three tools actually that came to my mind right now. I would recommend to use Azure Migrate tool, or the platform. It has a good guide in how you can evaluate your on-prem infrastructure. I believe there's like a plugin or something that you install in your server, and then it will assess your databases and your servers with the Azure Migrate project. Next one is the Cloud Adoption Framework, and the Microsoft assessments as well is also good when it comes to like trying to do the assessment and evaluation about your existing on-prem application. All right. I hope that helped. If you're not satisfied, feel free to reach out to me anytime on LinkedIn. So I think we're done. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a great time, and thank you so much for your time. Have a great one, and have a great weekend soon also for us. Thanks. Bye.